Hello, my name is Ms. Overton. If you don't have me, English teachers are filming lessons that can be used for other teachers' classrooms as well. Try to make the workload approachable. So if you don't have me, hi, nice to meet you. I wanted to go over your rhetorical terms example assignment. So if you could get that assignment up on your computer, and I'm going to talk a little bit through that with you so you know what we're looking for, and then I'll share an example at the end of this little snippet. So, okay. First of all, your examples are going to be due your first in-person class next week. So either that's August 31st or September 1st. All right. Rhetoric truly is the backbone of this course. It is important that you both understand literary terms and learn to identify the terms within your reading. So this week we've been working on learning like what syntax is to begin with, or what rhetoric is to begin with. And that information is really valuable, but it's only valuable if you can identify those terms within whatever book or text that you are reading. Because next year, as you move on to your more advanced classes, that's a major part of what you're going to be asked to do. To be able to find mood, to be able to find diction, to be able to find symbolism as you read, and then to be able to have deeper level intellectual conversations about what that meaning is in your writing. Okay, so this assignment will build off the content for this week by asking you to come up with your own examples or to find or justify examples of these terms. So you have a choice. You're looking at the 14 terms we gave you. Logos, pathos, ethos, and mood and tone are treated as different terms. So it's a total of 14 terms. And from there, you are either going to come up with your own example, if you've come up with one in your magic little brains, or if you find an example, it's okay to borrow somebody else's example, but you have to write your own sentence justifying why that example still works. Okay, first you'll need to have the notes that you were supposed to take in your spiral notebook over that PowerPoint that we gave you. That was your first remote lesson for the week. You need to have that out. You should be bringing those notes to class every day because we're working with them constantly the first several weeks of class. Okay, then you watch this video, so that's where you're at right now. And then you're creating these terms. And I would do it on a new page in your spiral notebook, or if you want and you space them out so you can have examples underneath each definition, that's fine too. I did it for my own brain with an example underneath the definition, but if you didn't do it that way in your notebook, it's fine to have them on a new page. And then just a reminder that your notes on that PowerPoint and your examples need to be in class on 8/31 or 9/1 because we are 100% counting these or checking them over for points. Okay, so let me give you my example. My example is with diction, and I'm gonna try to turn this so you can see it. It's not, my handwriting is terrible. You're gonna need me to explain it anyway, but I have my notes at first for what I said was pretty important in that diction piece. So I described diction as word choice. We don't want you to write every single word down for that diction slide. Instead, we'd prefer that you kind of find a way to express that term in a way that makes sense to you. So for me, the author's word choice is what makes sense to me. And I also really thought a good summary of what that slide was trying to say is that it needs to be powerful words and purposeful words, which by the way, doesn't mean that it has to be big words. Usually students tend to think that fancy words are examples of diction, but actually it's not just really fancy words, it's purposeful word choice. And you can see that in my examples. So my first one, I know my handwriting is just literally like the most atrocious thing. It says he had an acrid smell to his skin. I came up with that one. And I chose acrid because it's really descriptive, right? Like acrid, you picture a smell so bad that it almost burns your nose. It's so bad that it's not just like, a stink bomb or something kind of stinks in here, right? It is something that's powerful in the air. So acrid would be kind of a bigger word choice, but it's really not about that. It's that the word itself is pervasive. The word jumps off the page because it's so descriptive. I could have just said it was smelly or it smelled bad, but acrid is a much more punchy, powerful word. So that's my example. Now you can come up with your example, or if you notice, I have in here, it says or, so you're only doing one or the other. I gave an example from one of my favorite books, The Glass Castle, and I just said I want to pick up a page and turn to a random page and find a good example of diction on that page. So this one is from page 174. You'll be able to read this way better. And I started here with none of us said a thing. None of us said a thing. Brian snatched up the chocolate bar and divided it into 4 pieces. While Mom watched, we wolfed them down. So I chose that because to me, wolf is a very pervasive word. Wolf is not just hungry or we ate them because we were hungry. It's not simplistic. The word wolf, and this is what my example says right here, is I said this is diction because the word wolfed is purposefully selected. Wolfed is animalistic and ravenous and describes their desperation for food. It's a part of the book where they are super hungry and they find their mom eating chocolate and they're angry with her for eating chocolate when they could have been eating anything. So that word wolfed, it's not a big word. We all know what it means, but adding in that animalistic part really adds depth to that sentence, right? We ate it hungrily would have just been that they're hungry, but that's wolfed shows that the author's trying to show how desperate they were and how much they needed to eat. And it also a little bit of anger towards the mom for not feeding the children and instead feeding herself. Okay, so you're doing one or the other. Normally we will use Screencastify for these, but we're purposefully having you do some of your stuff handwritten and some of it remotely on the computer, so that way we can get used to both formats. Since hybrid learning, you're doing both. So we wanted to film a video today so you could see what we're literally looking for in your spiral notebooks. If you have questions, email us, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.